Page 52, his word. At the top of the page, they're introducing what's known as legato playing. They're saying it's smoothly connected. That's fine. The problem is we can't do smoothly connected on the piano. The piano won't let us. It's not our fault. It's the piano's fault. We're doing the best we can. It's the piano did it. But piano is a percussive instrument, and so when you play a note, you get that boom, boom, boom. And we can connect the sounds as best we can, but we're still going to get that initial So playing any notes, if I just play some notes in C position, I get that initial here, so the notes are not really smooth. I can connect them, so there's no silence between them, and that's the best I can do. And for piano, that's what we call legato. We're just connecting the notes. Now there's, in the middle of the page, they give this curved line they call a slur. That curved line has other meanings, so let's just be careful here. It means, in this case, this is one of the meanings, is we're going to connect the notes. We're going to slur them together. For a wind instruments or some other instruments, it might have a different meaning. But for piano, we're just going to connect the notes. So look at the music. You see the first two measures, all those notes got that big line. See, it doesn't matter if the line is above or below the notes. That doesn't matter. It's like the stem of a note. It doesn't matter if the stem on a note goes up or down. It's a note. It's the same note. So don't get confused to whether the stem is up or down or the line is above or below or what. No. Most of the time it's convenience. It's where is it convenient to place it. So here the first two measures have this line on them. So we're going to connect all these notes. And then the last two measures have the line over those. We're going to connect those notes. Well, that comes a couple of questions right off the bat. If the lines were not there, the slur lines, because they haven't been in the, we're going to connect them anyway. So what's the difference? Why are the slurs there? Well, first off, they're getting you prepared for more difficult music coming up later. But more important in this case is look at between the slurs. We want a little silence between the slurs. It's like taking a breath when you're talking, or you end a sentence and you start another sentence. There's a little bit of silence. Now we don't mess up the rhythm. The beat keeps going. Don't mess up the beat because of the slurs. It's got to be there. But you're just going to lift up the note at the end of a slur a little early, so we get a little silence before we go to the next slur. For instance, look at the second measure on the half note. The F, it ends a slur. It ends on that note. So before I play the F and the next note here in the left hand, I'm going to lift up the right hand so I get a little silence before I go on. So the second measure is here. Then I'm going to lift up so I get a little silence. That's the main difference in this piece. If the slurs were not there, we would connect it all. To here, to here. There would be no silence between those notes, but this way we do. Just lift up and the other hand goes down. Now also, if you'll notice at the end of the line, very end, when the left hand plays that half note, that ends a slur too. So when we repeat, we want a little silence between that D, the last note, and the first note, and the D, the first note, a little silence between them. So we're going to lift up the left hand a little bit early so we get that silence. So the last measure is here, lift it up before I go on, so I get a little silence there. I'm not going to connect this D and this D. No, we don't want that. No. Now, they're talking about phrases. There's some gray area and there's some disagreement. I think you're going to find there's disagreement about a lot of stuff in music. A slur and a phrase uses the same symbol, that curved line, but they're not necessarily the same thing. Now some people consider them the same thing. A slur and a phrase is the same thing, and that's good enough for them. And that's okay. If that's what you want, that's it. But I don't. I consider a slur just the notes are connected. To me, a phrase is a musical sentence. So a phrase is not necessarily connected, because you can have disconnected notes in a phrase. But you can have a slur that's not a full musical sentence. So, that's how I approach it. So, a little more complicated the way I do it. So, good luck. Try and keep up with me. I'll try and explain it as best I can as we go through it. In this piece, these phrases, these marks, are both slurs and phrases because you're going to slur them together. And if you look at the words, they're a thought. They're not necessarily a complete sentence, but it's a thought. So we can consider each of these to be a phrase. So the first two measures is one phrase. The last two measures is another phrase, is how we might look at it. Normally, with words in it, you just look at the sentences and the words, and that tells you what your phrases are. But sometimes, especially with long sentences, you have to consider the commas and the semicolons and all the other stuff that can be in a sentence to help you break it up. And that's what we're doing here. And that's really what we're after here. So I would like to play this with you slowly. If you want to sing it, you go right ahead. I can't hear it. It doesn't matter. But I'm not singing it. So I'm going to give us 4 counts. So the hands, well, if you put your second finger in the right hand on D, because that's the first note, and you put the other fingers on the hand or keys next to it, you'll find you're in C position. And the left hand, you put your second finger on F, because that's where it is when it comes in. Then put the other fingers on the keys next to it, you're in C position. So we're still in C position. And that's how that works. So I'm going to give us 4 counts, so let's try this together slowly, and we are going to repeat it. So go ahead and put your hands there, here. Okay. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4. Repeat. 3, 4. 3, 4, off. Now there is a duet part at the bottom, so I'd like to play that, and you can play what you just played. But again, I need you to go up 1 octave. So middle C's here, just pretend middle C went up to 1 octave to the here. So rather than having your hands here, put them up here and play it here. And then we'll play it together. I'll give us 4 counts, and we are going to repeat it. So go ahead and put your hands where they go. Here, and here we go. 1, 2, ready, go.